Okay, hi, welcome to our sports picks. My name is Peter Loshak. His name is Jimmy the Bag, and today is Friday, October 6th, and this, of course, is the live show we do every morning at 10:30 Eastern Time, where we give our official picks every day. And Jim the Bag, you had nice job. You had another winning day yesterday, slightly down in hockey, but no shame in that. You took a bunch of underdogs, and they were actually very close.
Ooh.
So when I look at those results, I think that actually your picking was fine yesterday. You know.
Yeah, I felt really good about it. Arizona had a 4-1 lead, lost 5-4 to the Ducks. Sabres
Right.
allowed a late goal in the third. And then the biggest dog on the whole board, the Avalanche, took care of
Cashed,
business.
right. Now, the Arizona game, that would have been bad if you had a favorite, but as an underdog, I see that as wow. Maybe this guy knows what he's talking about when it comes to hockey. I got to push with Montreal, but of course, cashed on both of the football totals. So another couple winners in football for me. I'm now 36 and 26 ATS overall in college in these shows, and 7-4 in NFL. All right, so tonight we got let's see, what do we got? We got 3 NHL games, including the Las Vegas team's first game, 2 college games, a bunch of MLB games, of course, and where is it? And what else do we have? What the hell else do we have? Oh, and CFL. That's right. That's right. So we got hockey, CFL, MLB, and college. I guess let's start with let's start with hockey. Let's see if you can keep it going. First game, Jim the Bag, Islanders against Columbus. Obviously, Columbus, a very impressive team last year. Although last year took some people by surprise. This year they're not going to be taking anyone by surprise. And I believe that I saw that the starting goalie is not going to be in tonight. That's going to be the backup, right?
Yeah, Eunice Corpusalo will
Right,
be
right, right.
starting. And I'm not entirely sure what is
Why?
going on
Right.
there.
But my sense is that even with him, maybe there'll be an even better bet because of the reduced line. They're now down to about minus 140. Obviously, the Islanders have some quality on their top lines, but not sure if they have the depth offensively to keep up with Columbus here. What do you think? You have a plan on this one?
Yes, and I think you absolutely nailed it right
Yes.
there. That
Right.
we have added value because of Corpusalo in net.
Right.
Last year, the Islanders were outscored 13-2 in Nationwide Arena. I think Columbus is a really nice play here, and I'm making it an official pick. I think it's time for Alex Wenberg to show the world how good he is. I'm not totally sold on the Panarin for Sayad deal. I think that truculence that Sayad provides is very tough to find in the NHL.
Truculence. Yeah, wow. Jim the Bag. Not nearly as dull as you look. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You look smart and you are smart. You look smart and you are
You
smart.
are very kind.
Yes,
But so
yes.
we'll have to see what Panarin does on the line with Wenberg. This Blue Jackets young defense is very, very good. Now going to the Islanders side of things, I don't know if Everly will help Tavares that much. He wasn't good enough to stay on the line with McDavid. I think the Grice Halak combination is not very good. I think the Islanders, who were kind of a surprise to me, I thought they were quite good last year. I think they'll take a slight step back, and I
Right.
love the Jackets as a play today.
Yes, that's what I was thinking as well, Jim the Bag. So I'm going to go on that one with you. How are you going to take? You're taking on the money line?
I am going to take it on the money line.
All right, that will be minus 138 at Pinnacle, Bet Online, and a bunch of places. And I tried to get a little cute yesterday, taking Montreal on the -1 line. Although heading into OT, if you went on a shootout, you're pretty much you're happy that you didn't take the puck line. But if I had taken, I'm not sure if I would have wanted a favorite in a shootout. But I will take the -1 line once again here. I'll take it, try to be a little bit cute. Columbus minus 138 on the money line, and then the puck line will be plus 212 also at Pinnacle. So again, a decent underdog line there. If Columbus wins by just one, then I'll get a push on that one. All right, then we have Florida and Tampa Bay, right? Tampa Bay had a bunch of injuries last year and kind of a disappointing season. The reports are that they are mentally prepared for this season and looking for a fast start. So I guess in general, I'd be looking to bet on Tampa Bay to start. Not sure though if I want them here at this high of a line though.
I agree. I'm not going to take them at this high of a line. I'm going to leave this game out.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm very interested. I mean, the Panthers also had to deal with a ton of injuries.
Yeah.
Huberdeau is a top flight player, and they lost him. Bukestad is so underrated. He's a 6'6" centerman, and they missed him desperately last year. I felt Barkov was dealing with injuries all the time. When healthy, this is a very good hockey team. Now, can 38-year-old Roberto Luongo handle
That's
the
the
bulk of
question.
starts? I don't think he can. And the big question is, how good is Evgeny Dadonov going to be? He's coming over from the KHL. I think the Tampa Lightning are going to be a very good hockey team this year. Kucherov proved he's a top 5 player. Hedman is a perennial Norris candidate. When the Panthers play the Lightning, they're often very high scoring.
Yes.
But then, because it's the first game of the year, you can't even really count on that. So I'm just going to sit and watch and learn.
You're going to stay off it. Okay. Yes, I was looking to bet on Tampa Bay earlier this year, but I'm a little bit concerned with this kind of a line. Maybe they'll get too much line respect and not actually be a good bet, even if they are a good team. I guess we'll see how the lines adjust when they go up against different situations on the road and everything. And then we have Las Vegas's first game of the year on the road against Dallas. Obviously, Vegas has a lineup that is uninspiring here, but maybe they'll be. I mean, plus 200. Over plus 200 for this game against the Dallas Stars. Are they getting just a little bit disrespected here at plus 210 or whatever it is you can get them right now?
I think that this is a better roster than previous expansion teams.
Right.
They had a better opportunity. And I'm excited to take the Golden Knights in their home opener.
Right.
I will try and hammer that. But I'm going to make the Stars an official pick.
Really?
I know that I'm getting a bad number, but I just think this will be quite an easy win for the Stars. Adding Radulov to Ben and Seguin is just a nasty first line. Now, I'm concerned at this team overall. I think they're top heavy, and I'm also I'm going to watch this game. I'm very excited about the Knights and to see them play. And this Shipachyov guy from the KHL, who's now their number 1 centerman. So I'm looking forward to some of these guys from the KHL. It's going to be exciting to see how they play, but I just think that the Stars are a much better team at home, and those are my 2 official NHL picks. I know they're favorites, but
no. But you want that? Look, Columbus one. I'm on with you. I'm taking it -1. This one, if you want the money line or the puck line, or what do you want here?
I'm just taking the money line. I don't mind risking extra cash.
All right, -230 is the best line we can give you, not the worst line. That's the best line. The worst line we give you would be -240. -230 at BetOnline/SportsBetting.ag. Okay, I mean it's just you've had quite a nice little run in the NHL so far here, Jim. Now, if you get a win here, yeah, you throw another unit onto it. But if you get a hit with a loss, we have to take almost 2.5 units off your record.
I feel that, but I just think the Stars are such a good team, very good at home, and this will be a tough awakening for the Knights, and then we'll hammer them on their home opener.
Yeah, look, I don't disagree with your analysis. I'm just not sure, and I might be wrong here. You might be totally right. I'm just not sure. I don't have a good sense of a feel of what the actual percentage should be here for Dallas. Similar, a lot of times I have the same feeling with like huge MMA favorites. It's like they should be a big favorite, but exactly how big of a favorite should they be? That's how I feel about this game. But you think that even at -230, they should be a bigger favorite?
There's so much parity in the NHL, and you kind of caught me there. I don't think they shouldn't be a -260 or -270 favorite, but I just see their top line being so superior to anybody else who's going to be on the ice, and that should really seal the deal.
All right, so small edge here seen by Jim the Bag at -230. Also on Columbus at -138, and I am also on Columbus on the -1 line at a small underdog price. All right, and then I'm also thinking about the Florida Tampa Bay game. Yeah, I've been hitting mostly overs so far in the NHL this year and doing quite well with them. I think I'm 5-2 on my totals plays, and I think each play has been an over. And Florida, Tampa Bay, why is this total so low? 5.5, the over is an underdog line.
That is strange. I think people want to see how Stamkos comes back. He's not played for so long. I agree that 5.5 is low. And if you were going to take a stab at it, I would join you at the over.
You know what I might do, Jim? I might take all 3 overs again, just like I did yesterday. I took all the overs yesterday, 5 overs yesterday, and I might take all 3 overs here as well. Now, I could get burned. They could all go under, couldn't they?
Well, I mean, that's always the case. I think the one worry would be Columbus. I don't trust that Islanders offense, even though the
top line is Tavares. I mean, he's a speedy guy.
Tavares is a very good hockey player. And that second unit showed a lot of promise with Bailey and Lee last year. But that Columbus Blue Jacket team is a tough team to play, and they'll be ready to go.
Tough defensively, yeah. For sure.
I'm not saying that it's a bad play at all by taking 3 overs, and it's been very successful. And it seems like there's some sloppy play early in the year. And I'm going to add the Panthers Lightning over.
I talked you into it. You weren't going to, but now I talked you into it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the best line we give you is 5.5 plus 110 at the Greek. At the Greek, 5 Dimes also has that one. We don't use 5 Dimes lines. Heritage has it on their 5-cent lines, but that we don't use those lines either. But the Greek does have 5.5 at plus 110, so we'll give you that one on the over there. 5.5 plus 110. Florida Tampa is the third pick for Jim. We'll come back at the end of this video, and I'll make some. I'll decide what level of balls I want to have on these plays, and decide if I want to give that over with you or all 3 overs. We'll see. But I'm definitely on Columbus with you -1. All right, now let's move on down the line to the card here. I guess let's talk about MLB, right? 4 games. We can talk about each one here. Houston against Boston, a massive line. Nice call on Houston, by the way, yesterday. Very nicely done. Jim the bag. Houston a huge favorite here. Keuchel, good. Keuchel's good, but not unhittable. And same deal with Pomerantz. Maybe I'd give a tiny lean to Houston in terms of starting pitching, but certainly not a huge one. And again, I'd give Houston a solid lean in this game. Not sure though if at -175 they're the play. Boston might be the play here. What do you think, Jim?
I agree with you that Keuchel is not the pitcher he was in 2015.
Right.
Pomerantz has looked much better than I expected this year. I think the big issue in this game is that, as we saw yesterday, these Astros smash lefties.
They're just a vicious lineup all the way down the order.
And the Red Sox are just okay against lefties. Just like their season, their average is okay. They're 8th at 267. Yeah. Their OPS is okay. They're 11th, but they're 23rd in runs scored. Yeah. They always have a difficulty putting offense on the board. That's going to cost them this year. I think that the Astros are the play, and because of Keuchel's neck issues and his difficulty in August, that we're getting -175. Where if Keuchel was pitching better, we'd be seeing -210 on this. So, I think that Keuchel has righted the ship enough. I don't trust him to shut down this Red Sox offense, but I like the Astros. I like the Astros. I think they're going to just hit Pomerantz hard.
Yeah, no, he was. I mean, Keuchel was fine down the stretch. So was Pomerantz. All right, but this is not going to be an official play for you, though, is it?
No, it is.
Right.
I'm taking
it is really.
I'm taking the Astros
wow.
Again, I'm taking
Jim the bag just chucking plays out.
Unfortunately, today these favorites look so good to me,
sure.
and I know that it doesn't. The excitement it wanes when you take these favorites, but I just think that the Astros smash lefties.
Yeah. The excitement wanes according to whom?
Well,
according to whom, Jim the bag?
The excitement is when you
according to society. Fuck society. You know what I mean? If you think it's exciting, then fucking give it as a play and be excited about it.
I'm very, very excited about the game. I love afternoon playoff baseball, so I think the Astros are going to take a 2-0 lead back to Fenway.
Okay, so you want to take the Astros here at Jesus Christ -175. Okay, you want that one?
I do.
All right, next game, Cleveland and the Yankees. Now another favorite. Now I was for most of the year I was betting on Kluber, and you'll be regular viewers will remember that I was not betting on the massive money lines of Kluber. I was mostly just taking the team total unders on the team going against him, and sometimes the full game unders if he was going up against a good starter here. And as much as the Yankees are obviously a quality team getting +200, there's no way I'd take the Yankees here. No way I'd take Cleveland here. Might take a shot with the under, or might just go back to the good old tried and true team total under with the Yankees, the first 5 innings team total under. What's your take on this game, Jim?
I think you're on the right track. I want to take Kluber, and how can you take him and make the most money off of it, or not risk the most amount of money? I was very impressed with big CC Sabathia this year, pitching off the bottle. He had the lowest average exit velocity on batted balls of any lefty in the entire league.
Bullshit. Really?
Of any lefty in the entire league, he had the lowest average exit velocity on batted balls. Absolutely incredible. He pitched very well. Now, the Indians faced lefties more than any other team in the league. And if you'll remember, the first half of the year, they were struggling against lefties.
Oh, yeah.
And then in the second half of the year, something came together, and they started hitting lefties very hard. They ended up with great numbers with first lefties. 6th in average at 270, sure. 4th in OPS at 794. Since June, Kluber's 15-2 with a 1.62 ERA.
Bullshit. The fuck out of here.
224 strikeouts in 166 innings.
Is that true?
That's true.
Fuck out of here.
I
really?
Mean,
wow.
Those are clear Cy Young numbers.
Wow.
And so also look at Kluber. He was 4-0 with a 0.89 ERA in 5 postseason starts before he came into Game 7 when he was exhausted against the Cubs, and then he got touched for 4 runs, I believe, in 5 innings.
Mm-hmm.
But look at that number when he's fresh. I mean, I think right now Kluber is the best pitcher in Major League Baseball, and
Bar none.
and I think that we need to figure out whether we take Yankees team total under.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to take the Yankees team total under, which is risky, the first 5 innings team total under is 1.5 minus 150, which is not something that I was loath to do before. Earlier in the season, I did have some balls taking some team total unders at 1.5 juiced, but I did pretty well with them. But again, the Yankees got some bats. Kluber's awesome, but the Yankees got some bats. You can put one guy on, then a home run, and then you're scotched. It's certainly an interesting game. You want to give a pick on this one, or you want to move on?
I am, and I'm hesitant to do this, but I can't take the 1.5
right
total. That's just too low.
Full game is only 2.5. Unreal.
I can't do that. But
right.
I will take a risk on this big number. I will take the Indians to win Game 2 of this series.
Okay, minus 228 is the current line. Best line that we can give you. The best line we can give you, minus 228. 5 dimes does have 225, so if you got that one, you can go there. But of course, you don't use 5 dimes lines. Minus 228 is the current line at Pinnacle. Yeah, it's an interesting spread. Listen, if you gave me a free play on this game that I had to use on a side, God, I really don't know what I would take. I guess I would throw it on the Indians because Kluber feels like, when these stud starting pitchers, it doesn't matter who the hitters are. It can be San Diego, it can be the Yankees. When the stud starting pitchers are on their game, they're going to throw a shutout start. So I guess I'm not going to bet it, but if you gave me a free bet that I had to use on a side, I probably would take Cleveland. All right. So then let's move on. Cubs and Washington. This one is definitely interesting. Game 1 in this series, Hendricks against Strasburg. Strasburg, of course, since he came back from the DL, was awesome, but Hendricks was great as well over the last parts of the season. And I guess I would give a small edge here to Washington starting pitching, but only a very, very small one. And, obviously two very, very talented lineups here. The Cubs just have a way of underachieving, but still at the current line in the plus 140 seems to me like the Cubs would be the way to go. What do you think, Jim?
I think it's going to be a very, very close game. Strasburg was incredible. Over his last 10 starts, 0.86 ERA.
Sure.
He's extremely intense. And again, like you said, Hendricks has been very good since coming back from a hand injury. This is a very tough situation. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that Hendricks is the starting pitcher going into the playoffs is a sign that this is not the Cubs of last year. Their bullpen does not look as strong either. And even the Nationals bullpen didn't look great in the last month of the season, last few weeks of the season. So I'm not going to make a play on this game.
Yeah, you don't have to make a play on every game, Jim.
For sure. But I'm not going to make a play on this game.
Right.
I give the small edge to Strasburg. He can also hit a little bit.
Sure, yes.
But it's going to be a very tight game, and it's going to be a great series.
Yeah, I would give the small edge to the Cubs here at the current line, and I would give maybe a small edge to the Cubs on the second half, although at minus 110, I'm not going to take that one either. And then we have a very interesting one, Walker against Kershaw in Arizona and the Dodgers. And, of course, you remember the Dodgers had an extended run of losing where they were probably in my entire life of handicapping the single most overvalued baseball team that I can remember. I mean, they were like a minus 200 or greater favorite game in and game out, and literally losing game in and game out. Now, of course, in the last couple of weeks of the season, they turned it around, started to win a bunch, and started to get their mojo back. But still, the Dodgers once again make me very nervous as a huge favorite here. On the other side, Taijuan Walker very hittable. Kershaw, of course, as we know, had been dealing with some back issues all season long. At times was lights out, but not always. And as we know, and I'm sure that you know this, Jim, so I'm not telling it for your sake, but for some of our viewers might not know, Kershaw actually has a terrible lifetime record in the playoffs. Not just like non-elite, but really not good. A not good lifetime record in the playoffs. It doesn't mean that he's going to be bad here. There might be some sort of fluky, anomalous variance responsible for his lifetime playoffs numbers, but the numbers are what they are. Adding it all together makes me nervous to take the Dodgers at the huge favorite line here. I'm not sure I'd want to take Arizona, though. What's your take on this one, Jim?
Well, yeah, you're bang on with everything. 4-7 with a 4.55 ERA is Kershaw's postseason. I think, okay, the major thing in this series, now I know the Diamondbacks are an extremely talented baseball team, but their Achilles heel is going up against lefties. They just can't hit lefties. And so Kershaw destroyed the D-backs this year.
Yes.
It went
Yes.
2-0 with a 0.59 ERA. And the D-backs went out and got JD Martinez so they could handle lefties. But I mean, like look at Jake Lamb, for instance. I think Jake Lamb is an incredible third baseman. I know he had a bit of a difficult second half, but this guy hits. So he has 4 hits in the wild card game. They don't win the game without him. And then he hits 143 versus lefties. And he was so good in the wild card game that Lovato might actually start him at third base. And it's basically you're taking this bat out of the lineup. I think it was a coincidence that the Diamondbacks were so hot when the Dodgers were so cold.
Just a coincidence.
A coincidence.
Yeah. Okay.
It was just a coincidence, and it just happened that they were playing each other 6 or 9 times during that span. I'm now you can't take Kershaw. I don't think you can take Kershaw with this giant line. I just don't think it makes sense. But I do think the Dodgers and all their lefties are going to take care of the Diamondbacks. Now, in saying that, people who have been following me know that I have 2 futures bets on the Dodgers, 300 to win the World Series and 300 to win the NL from the beginning of the year. So I will be putting a $100 bet on the Diamondbacks to win the series at plus 210.
Smart.
That will cover 35% of my losses in case the Diamondbacks win. But I do think that the Dodgers will win this series, and but you can't take Kershaw at these numbers with his history in the postseason.
Yes, cannot do it.
It just doesn't make sense.
It's a little bit tempting to think about Arizona on the second half, which is plus 150. I mean, if Kershaw is lights out, they probably will let him go at least 7, maybe 9, despite the fact that it's a playoff game. On the other hand, if the Dodgers get up 8-1, they might pull him, in the 5th or the 6th, just to keep him fresh and injury free. So Arizona on the second half is tempting as well. So it's a bunch of 4 games. Very interesting here. What do we have? We have you're on Houston, you're on Cleveland, pass on the Cubs in Washington, and the Arizona and the Dodgers game is going to be a pass for you.
It's going to be a pass. It's going to be a pass. I mean, I'll tweet out the $100 bet on the series at plus 210, but it's going to be a pass. I need to see Kershaw deliver the goods in a pressure situation, and I'm a Kershaw fan. I believe he's capable of doing it, and I just want to see it. And we haven't really talked about Taijuan Walker yet. I expect him. I mean, what kind of start do you think he's going to?
I mean, he's a known entity. I think he'll get hit a little bit, maybe a lot. If he has, 5 shutout innings, that wouldn't be a huge shock, but a little bit of a shock. I think he probably gets hit.
I think he gets hit. I mean, both these teams can't hit lefties. Taijuan is a righty, so the Dodgers have really nice numbers there. It was such a strange year with the Dodgers hitting lefties so well at the beginning of the year and then just falling apart against them at the end of the year. The Dodgers are definitely a questionable entity at this point. Doubt has creeped into their mind, and that's a scary thing. And so I expect Kershaw to throw a gem and the Dodgers to win. But at these numbers, it doesn't make sense for me to take that risk.
Right. Okay, then there is a CFL game, Hamilton and Winnipeg, and I did actually make a bet on that one. I took under 57.5. I'm up on both sides and totals in CFL this year, and that's a play that I did bet. If you want to tail it, go for it. A little bit of a contrarian play, of course, because Winnipeg plays very high scoring games often. But I took a shot with the under 57.5 in that one. And now let's move on to the 2 college football games that go tonight. Again, 2 interesting ones. First one, Memphis and Connecticut. Memphis, of course, got manhandled by UCF last week, and the Sharps were on UCF. Memphis had some defensive injuries that have been affecting them, and the word is that they are very pissed and looking for redemption here. And Connecticut also, a team that can be taken advantage of defensively, but also puts up their fair share of points offensively as well. So I would be leaning to the over, even though it is a high total, and a slight lean to Connecticut at double digits just to keep it close. Let's see where the Connecticut line is right now. You have anything to say about this one, Jim?
Yeah, UConn's shown no ability to get stops. At all. So Riley should be able to pick apart the D. Henderson should be rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Until Connecticut can show any sign of defense. I think that's the right move.
Yes, and so I'd be leaning over there. And then a very interesting one, Boise State against BYU. Both of these teams, of course, are underwhelming and underachieving this year. BYU particularly so. Quarterback issues for both teams. BYU, big offensive issues. My sense is, though, that even though Boise State's off a bye, and that obviously helps them a lot, and Harsin is great off of a bye in general, as a big home underdog here, I think it's going to be a tight, low-scoring game. So I'd be doing the old home dog and under lean both sides. Brigham Young plus 8.5, and the under is also a way that I would lean. You have anything to say about this one, Jim DeBag?
We need to find out who's going to be starting at quarterback.
Yes.
They claim that Mangum is close.
Yes.
He's just got out of the boot. To be honest, with the way they're speaking, it doesn't sound like he's going to be able to play.
I agree.
Coy Detmer Jr. looked awful. Hodge does not. He's been struggling. I think this is a kind of game you might want to wait a few hours before you make a decision.
You think so?
Well, you need to get more information on who's going to be a quarterback.
Yeah, Jim, not telling me what to do, but giving me some strong, a little bit of a strong suggestion there, right? Yeah, it's like, listen, I don't mean to be talking down to you, but you might want to just consider waiting a little bit. Okay, Jim, I will. I'll wait. I'll take your advice and I will wait. No, I very, very good point, Jim. Also, there might be some significant line moves based on that late information. I think any which way, though, I would be leaning under. It's interesting that the total has gotten bet significantly up. It opened about 44. Now it's up to 47 or 47.5. But I would be leaning under here. I see it as probably a tight, low-scoring game, and I would be leaning BYU here. Even plus 8.5. But I don't know if I'm going to bet that, and I don't know if I'm definitely not going to give that one as an official pick. All right, let's go over the card. All right, NHL. Let me just make sure that I got everything correct here. All right, let's just start in the here.
What was the line in the Ticats Bombers game?
It was a big line for Winnipeg. It opened about 13. Now it's 13.5. Now it's down to a 12 or 12.5. That's a tricky line right there, because Winnipeg has been awesome ATS most of the year, winning a lot of double-digit games at home, and so I've been on Hamilton. Hamilton, a bad team, but recently they've been covering, and I was on them a few times. I forgot who they were up against, but there was one game where they were a double-digit underdog, and I think they won it, or they lost by a point or something, and I had that one. This game, the spread, I'm holding off of, but I am going to take a shot with the under. If you want to tail that, you can. All right, so let's review the official picks. Let's start with let me just make sure, because I have to write it all down. All right, college football. Any official picks that you want to give on either of those games, Jim?
I'm staying away from both of these college football games. I hit my college game yesterday, and I'm not going to I just don't feel confident enough in either side with this. So I'm gonna sit back and watch and learn.
Okay, I'm leaning under in the BYU game, and slightly into a BYU plus the points, but yeah, I'll hold off on that one. Next up is MLB. All right, I got you down on here. Let me write this down. I got you down on Houston, and I got you down on Cleveland, right? Yep. And that's it, right?
That's it.
That's it. Okay, then let's go on down the line. NHL, I got you down on hold on one second. Columbus. And I got you down for that's right, Dallas, right?
Yep. I
got you down for Columbus, Dallas, and the Florida over. And I'm on Columbus -1. And you know what? I'll take all three overs. Who cares? All three overs. I'll take all three overs. Let me just find what those odds are. Let me just find what the hell are the odds? Totals, right? Okay, Here we go. All three overs. Okay, Islanders and Columbus. Ooh, that is a tough one, though. That's a tricky one. Be careful about that one, right?
Yeah, Columbus is a really finely tuned machine defensively, and I don't trust the Islanders' offense. But I didn't trust them last year, and they shone. So.
They shone?
Yeah.
They did?
Yeah.
They shone?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll take Florida, Tampa Bay, and Vegas, Dallas overs. That's it. I will add Florida, Tampa Bay over 5.5 plus 110. And I agree. I think the Vegas Dallas game is we're going to see some more likely than not to see some goals scored. It might be one of those games where Dallas wins at like 8-1, something like that. Would not be a shock if that happened.
And what a shock last night, Pittsburgh. Just getting mauled, manhandled by the Blackhawks 10-1.
Right. So I will take the over on that one, 5.5, and let's see. I believe minus. Wow, The Greek feed is all messed up. Let me just quickly check the Greek one. All right, I'll take over 5.5 minus 113, which is the current line at Pinnacle. So I'm on the over Vegas, Dallas, over Florida, Tampa Bay, and Columbus -1. And as far as baseball is concerned, I guess I'd have a lean to Arizona on the second half, and I'll pass on that one. As I've said many times, I don't do much betting on MLB playoff games, and I guess I would have a small lean to the Cubs as a big underdog. And the college games, I'll pass on both of them, although I've revealed my leans. And so that's about it. All right, Jim the Bag, you've got a bunch of plays going, a bunch of favorites, which means that you might get a bunch of easy units here, or you might be Heart Attack City for you tonight. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, not an enjoyable spot to be in. Want to thank all you guys on the live chat. Thank you for coming along. And yeah, Lou, my man Lou Skunt, yes, Trent Richardson did just sign with Saskatchewan, which we're very excited about. And we're also thinking that Johnny Manziel will be making a stop in our league.
Really? I actually heard something that he's banned from the CFL or something.
Is that?
I read some article. I don't know. I don't pay that close attention to it, but I read some article like 2 weeks ago or something.
See, Hamilton did not want him, but other teams have stepped up and said. And the funny thing about the Hamilton Tiger Cats is at this time of year, they start finding cuts from the NFL, and they've done that for 25 years. So even though they're such a bad team, you may find value from them in the last few weeks of the season.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's some funny comments in here. If Jimmy the Bag goes to the Hotel Del Rey, is that considered a quote-unquote active shooter situation in CR? Not bad. Michael, did you write that one yourself, Michael Mayetta, or do you have a writer sitting next to you passing you lines? That's a suspiciously good line there, Michael Mayetta. That's a suspiciously good line. I think he's got a writer, which is fine. Everyone uses writers if they need it, right? There's no problem with using writers, right? All right, so I guess that's all. That's about it. Let's wrap it up. It's been an interesting show, starting up with Jim, and I believe that sometime soon, maybe even on Monday, we're going to be changing the scenario here, and we're going to be in a studio.
Yes,
is that true?
That is true. It's going to be very exciting.
All right, that'll be cool. So maybe that'll enhance our ability to go back and forth and throw up graphics and interact with the post or whatever. But that's it. Been an interesting week. Jim the Bag has a lot of plays going tonight, including a bunch of favorites. I hope that at most one of your favorite loses. If Lord willing, none of them. But look, you got a bunch of favorites. But the fact is, let's say 2 of them win and 1 of them lose. You're fine. You're down maybe 1/10 of a unit, but no big deal, right?
No big deal. I think these are solid favorites. It's alarming how confident I was in almost all 4 of the favorites in MLB, but you just can't expect that all 4 are going to come through like that.
I mean, you got Houston, Cleveland, and Dallas, and if 2 of those win, you're fine. No big deal. You're close to being even. No harm, no foul, Jim the Bag.
Yeah, and I love our Columbus play.
Yes. Hopefully those will cash. That's it for the show. We'll be back on Monday morning for the possibly in studio for the Monday show. Thanks for tuning in, guys.